Today, Ratbags, we've got a big talk about Playgrounds mode and why it's getting hate from the usual suspects. Now, they really should carry on watching this video to get educated on how games are made, with a little diversion and call out for mediocre Milton as well. We'll be going over the patch notes for Playgrounds and the Axel and actually how you're meant to summon in him, plus an issue with the snake not spawning for single player. And from the vaults, did you know that at one point we were going to have infected ants that would be split in two and have terrifying results in terms of creatures that would try and kill you? All that and more, let's go. So I excitedly jumped on last night for the patch. Axel could now be summoned in the park and Playgrounds. People were wondering why it wasn't there available as part of the first Playgrounds update, and I think it's reasonable to say it's a hard mechanic, right? He's definitely got some unique abilities where he pops out of the ground and moves around the arena. Like, that's not going to be easy to solve anywhere else. So even if they can just have him spawn in his arena, I would accept that. I don't really need it to be spawnable anywhere else. But they have said they are looking at it and it is something they might be able to add in the future. But what this patch note didn't say was you actually have to go ahead and download the map. So it won't work in design mode. It won't work in the play mode when you switch between the two when you're designing your map. It only works once you've published your map and then you've downloaded it. Now, it doesn't say anything like that here, and there are a bunch of new players to Grounded 2 and people that have never touched Playgrounds, so it probably is worth them maybe expanding on this by the time the full patch notes come out for everyone. Remember, the Playgrounds mode isn't available right now for everyone. It's still probably going to be in PTB at least another 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm hoping they do just remember that there are new players, because I'd forgotten this as well. This was the way that the bosses worked in Grounded 1. They never actually were spawnable, or eventually they got patched, but they were never spawnable in design mode. You actually had to download the map and then play it. So if you're making some crazy map using Axel as a boss or whatever, then go ahead and do all the other stuff. Make sure you can use the bait to summon him, and then yeah, go ahead and publish it and then test it that way. So yeah, I was a bit harsh in Discord yesterday because a few things have been annoying me with Grounded, but I'm going to get onto that in a second. Added various Grounded 2 props. More props from Grounded 2 will be added throughout development with each update. What did they add? 2 cactuses. Literally, that was it. This is kind of clickbait bullshit. Like, if you're gonna say something like this, like, just don't. Just be honest and say, we've added 2 cactuses. It's a silly little thing, but it just would have served the actual update better to not include the cactuses, or at least just talk about what they really have added, rather than make it a bit more vague and seemingly bigger. But yeah, I do want to see the props added a bit sooner. And then just fixes and functional stuff. Trigger volumes and hazards volume now has access to the scale access. Holograms appear in black has been fixed. Lots of crashes with Playgrounds. Issues with using controllers. Fixed an issue where the snake did not attack the play and play mode. Other fixes as well, or placement for the wooden deck, the wooden turret. Handy-nap textures now appear correctly into the dark. And now when switching the first and second key by a handy-nap, the second assigned key mapping should no longer trigger the ghost mode toggle. In their known issues section, they are reporting that Grounded 1 bosses still are work in progress, adding some of the ones that are missing. And yeah, as I said, they are going to be adding more props to Grounded 2 quicker. They know about a lot of crashes with Playgrounds, they're on it, they're trying to fix it as quickly as they can, and some of them should hopefully be better. And they've still got work to do with the toggle grid, as well as placing certain creatures still. FYI, the toggle grid can only be turned on or off with the designed radial. And music, to most people's ears, they are looking at the handy-nap having more range. So it doesn't look like they're going to take off the tether completely, but it is something they're going to hopefully improve due to the, I guess, bigger aspects of Grounded 2, and obviously affecting maybe stuff going on in the background. Couple bug issues that they know about with Burgle OS chips missing on some saves that should be fixed in the next update, and various LOD issues can occur throughout the park, basically stuff not appearing correctly. And yes, there is an issue with the snake not appearing for some players right now in single player for some reason. I've only seen a few comments like that, but already from what I've seen across my socials, that might be a thing. So Playgrounds might not be for everyone. Some people don't have a creative bone in their body, and that's okay. You may not like playing anything that diverges from the survival, from the bugs, from that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids fantasy. I love Grounded. I love it because of the nostalgia it brings from the 90s. I actually love the survival elements of it as a fully grown ass man. But I do actually still like the creative side of things. I love Minecraft. I love building stuff in that. I love creativity in most games. I'm not the most creative person in terms of quality, but I still love doing it. It can be relaxing, it can be fun, it can be interesting. If Playgrounds isn't your bag, cool, no problem. Just shut up. You don't need to be traipsing it on every video. You don't need to be a mediocre Milton making a whole 5-minute rant video about it and then unlisting it because you're too much of a coward. Game dev is hard. We know we've got a roadmap stacked with stuff that's incoming, so there is content for everyone. Playgrounds, though, has got an opportunity to draw more people in to keep on playing Grounded, and that's a key metric of what Xbox likes in their games. They want people to be playing on Game Pass, they want people to be playing their games a long time. Let's go ahead and dispel a few myths. Playgrounds mode is not taking away significant time from anything else in Grounded 2. I saw one dumbass comment saying that zip lines have been delayed because people were working on Playgrounds mode. What are you on? I'm begging you, and I'm going to upset you, and I don't mean to, but you numbskulls out there, no, I do actually mean to. Please, just look up Google, work out how games are actually made. This was probably the most simplest chart I could find. Give or take, it outlines exactly how game development goes for most games. Grounded 2 started development about 2 years ago, or just over. We know that because the devs said it'd been in development about 18 months when it first released. From this chart, you can see tech architects and tool vendors, people that are making and coding the game, they start their job at the very start of that 2-year period. So they're really busy for that 2 years alongside the actual game designers to work out where they're going to go with the game, what kind of features they're going to add to it. Then we've got the software design implementation and the content creation. And this is where artists actually pick up a lot more slack. Or a better way of looking at it is they're going to be probably some of the busiest, trying to make all these bugs, weapons, armor pieces, and a lot more environmental assets. But a lot of the work that the architects, the coders, the vendors has already actually been done, as you can see. Sure, the tech architects listed as yellow here have got more to do with software design and implementing code for a lot of them assets, but they're nowhere near as busy as they were at the start of the process. So they'll have stuff to do, but for the next maybe year and a half, it's going to be a case of going back over bugs and issues that are brought to them by testing, implementing, ironing out any code that doesn't really work, or maybe stats attributes that should be changed, and sure, a little work on maybe some big design features that they still needed to work on, flesh out a bit more for the late game. They're not sitting there twiddling their thumbs, they're just as busy as everyone else. But I would say the pressure on them is a bit less so. So they've got time to tinker around, maybe come up with some new gadgets and gizmos for Playgrounds mode. At best, they had to just implement and port over the system from Grounded 1, which was already done. So Playgrounds mode isn't taking away any real significant time from anyone else. The artists and the people that make the 3D models, well, they're doing it for the game anyway, and everything that's going to be in the regular Brook Hollow Park will be just an asset or a prop you can use in Playgrounds mode. They're not making specific stuff for Playgrounds mode, but they're not using it in the rest of the game. The designers aren't getting involved in Playgrounds mode. It's literally just the coders who are a little bit more free now, and they can mess around with certain things like bringing us buggy racing or maybe some more gadgets and gizmos in the future. Like, there's plenty of bugs to fix for sure, but they'll have specific coders or engineers that look at that side of things, and then they'll have others that are more about the overall view or helping implement a system like this. The biggest time sink that Obsidian and Eidos probably have right now is just catching up and making the assets. So I don't want to hear any of you lot saying, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that, this is taking away time. It really just isn't. Like I said, every feature from Grounded 1's Playground has just been ported over. They've created nothing new at the moment. And they will have a bit of downtime, as it were, compared to what they were working with for the next year or so as they carry on fleshing out other systems. So it means they have got time to focus a tiny bit on just making sure the coding's right for Playgrounds. And that's it. That's all there is to it. There's no new ant models, there's no new creature bugs, no new weapons or armor that's only been added for Grounded Playgrounds mode. It's all simply reused assets. Google it, look it up yourself, big boys, go and actually get yourself a game education. Alright, it's not a game education, but a few minutes on Google should hopefully help you understand. So I like to bring receipts as always. I like to actually back up my arguments with facts and looking at what majority of people think, hence why I always point to things like Steam reviews. But if we have a little look at Playground 1 stats in terms of how many downloads there have been, how many people have liked some of these maps, including my only down map, it's got 40,000 downloads. Lots of these maps have about that same number. Some over have 110,000 downloads. So the idea that no one is playing Playgrounds, no one likes it and it's a waste of time, Well, there you go, Your Honour, arrest my case, you're talking shit. Playgrounds didn't take off as well as it could have because it did arrive late in Grounded's life cycle. So it's actually a really good thing they've brought it forward this time, because they know they might have something here, but they have to get it involved, get it in people's hands earlier. But you can't say that all these maps, if you added them all together, equal at least over 1 million downloads, are not worth people's time. Even if a map doesn't get a single download, as long as the person that's created it has had fun, has enjoyed it, has helped them relax, has given them that creative feeling, that's also all that matters really. Not everything has to be about views, not everything has to be about just something functional. I mean, I do like functional stuff in games, but the Grounded 2 devs, Eidos, are literally taking on board a system that's already basically made. They didn't even probably have to do any of that coding for it, of course. They've had some free time and they've now just implemented it. And if it's going to please even just 100,000 players instead of maybe 6 million or whatever, then that's still good. Playgrounds mode is something that can grow. And if you still don't want to play it, you're not interested, cool. But it's literally the equivalent to having modding, but on console. So yeah, come join my Discord. I've got channels set up where you can post your maps, ask for feedback, get anyone to give you a bit of hand maybe with some gadgets and gizmos, you never know. And obviously show me and maybe I'll check them out in the future. Hopefully this video today has clarified a lot of stuff. Like I said, you can go and look this stuff up. I'm not just chatting rubbish. Part of that wave of negativity, as usual, has come from a particular source. Well, no, I wouldn't say that, but he's definitely jumped on the bandwagon. Although, curiously, he went into unlisted his video, which is a 5-minute rant talking about Playgrounds, basically how it's a waste of time, people shouldn't bother. Now, I've got many issues with Milton, but I'm going to keep it very specific and succinct. I don't want this video to run out or just be a sole focus on this miserable old git. I'm probably older than him. That's maybe something to hopefully be happy about, that I'm not so miserable. But effectively, yeah, you guys sent me excerpts when this video came out. I didn't want to watch it. I haven't watched it, but you guys phrased it and said what he said, that it's somehow a waste of time being creative and that players shouldn't bother. So no, Milton, no. I've just shown the receipts, hundreds of thousands of people downloading these maps, liking them and enjoying them. It just came out at the wrong time, didn't get much love in terms of marketing, and that's the big reason it didn't take off as good as maybe other stuff. Lots of games like Roblox and more offer these kinds of game modes and creative endeavours, and to be honest, it feels like modding for console. Since we're never getting modding by looks of things for the PC version, this is as close as you're going to get, so embrace it, mate. But don't be sitting there shitting on people's creativity. Not everyone's about the views or likes. Some people just like to make stuff for the sake of it, because they enjoy it, because it chills them out, because it gets their creative juices flowing. I suck at creating stuff, but I still like doing it. Of course, you're entitled to your opinion, and absolutely, if you want to not play Playgrounds, you do you, mate. But did you really need to make like a 5-minute video going over it? Like, this is what you do, I guess. You cut up your streams, you bitch and moan in them, and I do the same sometimes. But I don't then go ahead and make hate bait videos just to get views out of them. Obsidian and Eidos are not above reproach. I've told you guys I'm already a bit unhappy with certain things. I'm unhappy, like I said, with casually grounded streams not being functional enough. I might have actually repeated that somewhere already. But yeah, I think we could be given more info, just like the devs said they were going to start at Christmas time. I really didn't like the Founders Pack being added in. I made one video about it saying I don't think early access games should have that kind of stuff. And I'm getting more grumpy with it because really we should have transmog system added to the game, since it's clearly working, since you can have the skins added. And the last update didn't have any new decor from any of the new bugs creatures, but somehow they still managed to release some of the Founders Pack new decor. But I did my little moan video when it first got announced, and that's it. I'm not going to milk it to death just to get some views. Yeah, sure, some leaks, yeah, but that gets a lot of people hyped up. So I don't want this to be a complete personal attack. Like I said, I've cut a bunch of stuff. I would love it if Milton would love to come and talk about Grounded and game development. Maybe I can teach him a few things. Maybe he can enlighten me a little bit. I have offered many times. He apparently says he'll only do it if I give him $500. The fact is, Milton just doesn't like anyone challenging him. I don't think he'd be able to cope with someone actually having the receipts and basing viewpoints on facts. In some ways, I could understand where Milton's coming from though, because I used to cover Ark. That's what made me a YouTuber. I was pretty successful and popular with it. But it was a badly made game. It was badly produced by their publishers who just run it into the ground with MTX and all sorts of shenanigans, delaying stuff, and just really not taking care of it. Great idea, made by the wrong people. It was a nice fresh concept in 2015, but yeah, it just got run into the ground. It's a bad game objectively. You can check that out by the review scores and multiple DLCs that they've added. It just is something that we all love, the idea of having dinosaurs. But I did love this game, I did, and I did the same sort of thing. I was always updating the community and doing as best I could to deliver news and guides and more. But I kept getting more and more negative comments about the game, like even more than you see on Grounded, 20,000 times more. And that started making me even more negative. So even though I had like 30 million views on it, I could easily have made myself a bigger YouTuber just by covering Ark. I decided not to, and I basically slowly started cutting it out to focus on other games before completely cutting it out, and I haven't played it in about 2 years now. And I said if I ever get like that about any other game, I'm just going to not cover it either. So it is easy to fall into. You get them negative comments, it becomes a big circle. Milton sees them in these comments, he says a few things, they reinforce it and go, yeah, you're right Milton, yeah, Grounded sucks, Obsidian sucks. That makes you feel like you're actually on the right path and that people agree with you. But you got to look outside your echo chamber. Just look at the review scores for Grounded. You can try saying the same to me, look outside, but that's what I rely on. I rely on the overall picture. The overall positive review scores for Grounded 2 far outweigh any other kind of criticism players can have. We can all be upset and grumpy in the moment like I've demonstrated today. I just don't think you necessarily need to rush ahead and make hate videos on it just for them sweet views. And bringing it back to the way I covered Ark, and as much as I was negative, I tried not to be just for the sake of it. I always had, hopefully, some good ideas about what they should do to improve things. But I just don't see that enough from Milton. I just see him asking for stuff that is kind of unreachable or not realistic. He doesn't seem to grasp the confines of what Grounded is. I mean, I've hid his channel, so I don't see any of his videos pop up in my recommended. But, you know, a couple of years ago, I probably caught a few of them and left a few comments on some. So yeah. Back off Milton, let people enjoy Playgrounds. It's not affecting Grounded 2's development as a main. Maybe you've realised that you were a bit OTT and that's why you unlisted this video. But the frequency that you rush to do this kind of thing and cut out excerpts from your stream and upload these hot takes does make me wonder, like, have you just not learned to maybe chill first before putting a big opinion out there? You're a grown-ass man. Like I said, I'm probably slightly older, but you're definitely old in my bracket. You have your opinion, you've got your own fans, you do you. It's super easy to just hide channels, click on the 3 dots that you'll see in the what's next if one of the videos shows up, and you can hide them. And that's exactly what I did about 2.5, 3 years ago. But anytime I feel like some of your opinions are just really untrue, or really, I would say, insulting to devs, other creators, or the player base at large, then I'll be here to hopefully correct a few things. And shout out to all the drongos in the comments. The usual people you see bitching and moaning about Grounded every single time will be under Milton's videos. I've banned a lot of these sad potato bums from my own channel, so I don't have to see any of their stupidity. Constructive criticism is fine, moaning about something but then also suggesting how they could fix it, add it, or understanding why they might have done something. But just the hate that comes from this kind of comments and videos is always just, nah, not for me. Learn how game dev works. Don't take for gospel someone's hot take opinion. Actually look at facts and figures before you start jumping on hate bandwagons. Bitches. Go and check out some of the great maps that have been added, including my Only Down 2 map that is now live with part 1, as we're going to be expanding in the future. Now, I don't want to leave on a bit of a negative. I am going to talk a little about infected bugs. I pride myself on being a know-it-all about everything that was ever leaked or shown as part of Grounded 1 and of course now Grounded 2. And I do that by you guys supplying me with so much of that. Nowadays anyway. Back in the day I did do a lot more of my own work, as so much of it was just leaked in PTBs. But Cook Shrimp showed off this picture and then started having a conversation with Apex and Chillax, some of the Grounded wiki boys, and I was amazed because I've never seen the idea of an infected ant supposedly was going to split in 2 if you killed it. This was cut content from Grounded 1. They did realise that it might be a bit too grim, with the head suddenly developing its own little legs, pretty much melding a mite to it, which would jump up and attack you, and the body would still shoot bombs at you. This was confirmed by one of the Grounded original creators and developers, Andy. What's left over from my original pitch for the infected ants. You probably found the other half as well. So yeah, when you killed them, they was originally going to split into 2 creatures. We didn't get them approved though, probably a bit too grim, so I just made them more normal instead. So yes, we do have the cockroaches, but their head doesn't suddenly sprout legs and start attacking you. It's literally just their body. I could kind of see why this would be a bit grim, but I don't know. I feel like, yeah, it's definitely a cool idea they should revisit. But honestly, this looks absolutely gnarly. Fingers crossed, maybe the ogre creatures will have some things up their sleeves. And there we go, a mixed video today. I'll be back with more news and stuff soon. I've just launched my own game, Begraved, in its demo and part of Steam Next Fest, so I was really busy, but now I've got a bit more time, so expect to see a lot more regular videos at Grounded incoming, and I'll see you right back later.